Hi guys, my name's Carley Frank. I am 17 and I'm going to be a senior at Elk River High School, and this is a little bit of my story. So my story is, on April 8th, 2024, my two younger siblings were murdered in a filicide-suicide, and obviously that impacted my life more than anything I could have ever imagined. When I found out, I was trying to think of anything that could be the worst that could have happened. And I would have never imagined that this would be my reality today. When everything had happened, I really had no hope of finding myself ever again. I felt really alone and lost, and obviously had so much taken from me in such a short amount of time that it was just uncomfortable to be living the everyday life. When everything first had happened, obviously my headspace was in, I wasn't even thinking about how I would have to go to therapy or work with professionals to help me get through my grief journey. But Thumbs Up was one of the first people, community-wise, that wasn't my family, who had reached out to me. I got sent, I think it was a smile bag. And it was kind of like eye-opening, where I was like, it made me feel like people knew my story and people were thinking of me. And I think there was one for, I think, every family member, so it was like very heartwarming. And then my mom was telling me how they had reached out and we had organized me working with a therapist, and that truly was just, I want to say, life-changing, because the relationship that I built with my therapist was so impactful on me, and I still hold it to me for this day. And yeah, it was just so cool to see that and understanding, first of all, like right away, that there was people there for me. So the significance of a rainbow was early developed, I would say probably 2-ish months after I had lost my siblings. So the week of the tragedy, I had obviously little to no hope, and I prayed for a sign that Solaire and Lakin were watching down on me. And ever since then, double rainbows has been the biggest thing ever. There was probably at least 4 or 5 double rainbows the week everything had happened, and from there it's just been so significant, and everything kind of just kept lining up. I'm a dancer, so I did a solo the year that I lost them to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I posted it on my Instagram, and my caption was like, the significance of a rainbow. And I like kind of just had to explain my story a little bit. It was my first time kind of back on social media since everything had happened. And I was just, one of my friends had said, let's make scholarships in honor of them, or something like that, where we can help our community and keep their names alive. And everything kind of just kept lining up, and the significance of a rainbow tied back. And now it's SOAR. We had a benefit last year and raised $25,000 for students in our Elk River community. 2 scholarships, one in honor of Lakin for people going into a science degree or the trades, and one in honor of Solaire, for people going into anything in the arts. So we just gave our first 2 scholarships this year, and it was crazy. Like, I was sitting up on the stage at the ceremony, and I was just like, it was a full circle moment to give people who have either experienced something that I've gone through or just have showed the talent that the kids would have loved to see. It was amazing. So we plan to have a yearly benefit, and I plan to turn it into a nonprofit to help people who have gone through what I've gone through. My reason why for supporting Thumbs Up, I think, is just because they were one of the first, like I said, in our community. They were the first people to reach out to me and to be there for me, I feel like. And in that resource of, obviously they know what they're doing and they've experienced people dealing with loss, so I knew that I could rely on them. And just obviously, like, that support is so impactful. So I started the Broken Butterfly. I've been thinking about doing it for a couple years, or probably for a year now. Immediately after everything had happened, I knew that I wanted to help people, because I never wanted anyone to feel the way that I felt the week of the tragedy. But I started the Broken Butterfly, I would say probably about 2 months ago. And it's a podcast showing the reality of living with grief as a teen, and how that works in today's society, and how I get up every day and balance my grief life and my school life, managing with drama and friends and family and sports, homework, getting ready to go to college, and just kind of showing what the true reality of it is. Because when I wake up and go to school every day and put a smile on my face, that is what people see, but they don't know what happens behind the scenes. And it's been really cool because I've had a lot of people reach out to me who have dealt with loss and are dealing with grief and have said that it's just helped them a lot. And for me, that was just so impactful because that's what I started with. That was my main goal. I feel like resilience for me is the ability to move back up from something when you've dropped so low. Like I said, when everything had happened, I was at such a low point in my life that I really never thought that I would be here today. One of the hardest things ever. And I feel like it just shows that if you have hope and you have the room for growth and improvement, that you can do so much with your pain and you can grow so much from that. And yeah, I just feel like not giving up even when you want to, and showing the strength and the hope and the courage that you can provide for yourself and that your community can provide for you is very important. What fuels me to keep moving forward, I would say, is my community. The people around me who have felt the way that I felt or have lost someone that they love, because I think it shows how lucky we are to love the people around us, and it's really eye-opening. And you don't want to make someone feel like that. You don't want someone to ever feel like that. And I think when you go through it, it really changes your perspective on life and your perspective on situations. So I feel like just the people around me, the people that I love and that show up every day for me, just to keep going for them. So obviously the future for me is, this is just the beginning, and I have so much grief to go through and so much to learn and grow from and heal. But I think if I were to look in the next 10 to 20 years, I would want to have a nonprofit organization where I'm helping people and connecting with people and being a resource, because obviously my situation is very rare and it's kind of hard to find, and I want to be there for people, which hopefully no one ever has to go through this, but if they were to, I could be there for them. And that's just kind of all around with every situation, and showing the reality of grief, because obviously I've experienced that firsthand and I can show that and give resources, and I feel like all examples of that. And also having my podcast kind of connect with that, where it's a resource where if you can't come see me or connect with the nonprofit, it's always a resource to listen to. But yeah, I just want to be able to help people. I don't want anyone to ever feel like how I felt ever again. So yeah.